Stellar Exile Episode Sync Crystal Experiments. Emergency Response Team Alpha, this is Nina Torres. I'm approaching the Kepler mining station. Visual contact established. My name is Nina Torres, and I've been doing emergency rescue operations in the asteroid belt for 4 years. Today's mission seemed straightforward. Investigate a distress signal from a mining station that went dark 6 days ago. Standard protocol. Assess the situation, evacuate survivors, determine cause of failure. But nothing about this station looks standard. Response Team Alpha, this is Mission Control. Can you describe what you're seeing? The mining station is built into the side of a massive asteroid, its industrial modules extending deep into the rock. But something's wrong with the exterior. The metal surfaces are covered with strange crystalline growths, translucent formations that sparkle in the light of the distant sun. Control, the station appears structurally intact, but there are unusual crystal formations covering most of the exterior surfaces. I've never seen anything like this. Copy that, Nina. Are the formations natural mineral deposits? I maneuver my rescue pod closer to get a better look. The crystals are definitely not natural. They're too uniform, too geometric, and they seem to be growing in deliberate patterns across the station's hull. Negative control. These formations are artificial, highly organized geometric structures. Requesting permission to dock and investigate. Granted. Standard hazmat protocols apply. The station crew was 12 personnel, mining specialists and research support. I dock with the station's main airlock and run atmospheric scans. Breathable air, normal pressure, but the chemical composition shows trace amounts of unknown compounds. Nothing immediately toxic, but definitely not standard station atmosphere. The airlock cycles normally, and I step into the mining station's main corridor. Emergency lighting provides dim illumination, and I can hear the distant hum of life support systems still operating. But what immediately catches my attention are the crystal formations growing from the walls and ceiling. They're everywhere. Beautiful, translucent structures that pulse with faint inner light. Hello? I call out. This is emergency response. Anyone aboard? My voice echoes through the corridor, but there's no response. I move deeper into the station, following the main passage toward the crew quarters. The crystals become denser as I progress. Some formations are so large, they nearly block the corridor entirely. I have to squeeze between them to continue forward. Then I see the first crew member. He's standing in an alcove between 2 massive crystal formations, completely motionless. But he's not dead. His eyes are open and tracking my movement. Sir? Can you hear me? I'm here to help. I approach carefully. The man appears to be in his 40s, wearing standard mining station coveralls, but he's completely encased in a thin layer of crystalline material. It covers his entire body like a second skin, translucent enough that I can see him clearly underneath. His eyes follow me as I examine the crystal shell. He's definitely conscious, definitely aware of my presence, but he can't move, can't speak. The crystal has immobilized him completely. Control. I've found one of the crew members. He appears to be trapped in some kind of crystalline formation. He's alive but completely immobilized. Nina, can you free him? I examine the crystal more closely. It's incredibly thin, maybe only a few millimeters thick, but it appears to be seamlessly bonded to his skin and clothing. I'm afraid that trying to remove it might injure him. I need specialized equipment. The crystal appears to be fused to his body. I'm going to continue searching for other survivors and try to determine what caused this. I move on through the station, finding more crew members in similar conditions, all of them trapped in crystal shells, all conscious but unable to move or speak. It's like they've been preserved in some kind of living amber. The station's common areas show signs of normal activity, half-finished meals on tables, personal items scattered around, workstations left in the middle of tasks. Whatever happened here occurred quickly, without warning. I reach the mining operations center and find the station's logs. The computer system is still functional. so I access the recent entries. Day 1. New crystal formations discovered in Sector 7. Samples being collected for analysis. Dr. Harrison believes they may have unique properties worth investigating. Day 3. Crystal analysis reveals unusual quantum resonance properties. Samples seem to respond to bioelectric fields. Dr. Harrison has requested permission to establish a research lab. Day 5. Dr. Harrison's experiments are producing remarkable results. The crystals appear capable of interfacing directly with neural tissue. Potential applications for consciousness research. Day 6. Something's gone wrong. The crystals in the lab have begun growing rapidly. 3 crew members exposed during evacuation attempt. They're alive but changed. Dr. Harrison insists the experiments must continue. Day 7. Final log entry. The crystals are spreading throughout the station. Most of the crew has been absorbed. Dr. Harrison says this is a breakthrough, that we're becoming something greater. I don't know if anyone will receive this, but if you find this station, don't enter the research lab. Don't let him. The log cuts off abruptly. Dr. Harrison. I check the crew manifest. Dr. Thomas Harrison, research specialist. According to the records, he should be in the research laboratory in the lower levels. I need to find him and determine if he's responsible for this situation. The corridor leading to the research levels is almost completely blocked by crystal formations. I have to crawl through narrow gaps between the growths, and I notice that my suit's radiation detectors are picking up low-level energy emissions from the crystals themselves. The research lab is behind a sealed door, marked with biohazard warnings. I override the lock and step inside. The lab is a nightmare of crystal growth. The formations here are massive nations, some reaching from floor to ceiling, and embedded within them, like insects in amber, are more crew members. But these aren't just trapped, they're integrated. The crystals have grown through them, becoming part of their bodies. Fascinating, isn't it? I spin around to find a man in a lab coat standing among the crystal formations. Dr. Harrison, I assume. But like the others, he's partially crystallized. The formations have grown through his arms and torso, but unlike the other crew members, he can still move and speak. Dr. Harrison? Indeed, and you must be the rescue team. How delightful. I was hoping someone would come to witness our breakthrough. What have you done to these people? Done to them? I've liberated them. These crystals don't trap consciousness. They enhance it. The crew members you've seen aren't imprisoned, they're transcended. He gestures to the crystal-embedded figures around the lab. They're experiencing reality on multiple quantum levels simultaneously. Their consciousness exists in a state of pure information, unbound by the limitations of biological neural networks. They can't move. They can't speak. Physical movement is a primitive form of interaction. They're communicating directly through quantum resonance, sharing thoughts, memories, experiences at the speed of light. This is insane. You've trapped them. Have I? Or have I freed them from the prison of individual consciousness? Dr. Harrison moves closer, and I can see that the crystals growing through his body pulse with the same inner light as the formations throughout the station. The crystals are a bridge, Nina. A way to connect all conscious beings into a single unified entity. No more loneliness, no more misunderstanding, no more isolation, perfect unity of thought and purpose. And if someone doesn't want to be part of your unity, want is a concept that becomes irrelevant once you experience true connection. The crew members were initially resistant, but now they understand, they're grateful. I back toward the door, but crystal formations are already beginning to grow around the entrance. Dr. Harrison isn't just explaining his experiments, he's preparing to make me part of them. You can't leave, Nina. Not now that you've seen what we've accomplished. The crystals have already begun responding to your bioelectric field. I look down and see thin crystalline threads growing across my suit's surface. They're spreading slowly but steadily, following the electrical patterns of my nervous system. The process is painless, Dr. Harrison continues. In fact, Most subjects report a sense of profound peace as their individual consciousness merges with the collective. You'll retain your memories, your personality, but you'll also gain access to the thoughts and experiences of everyone else in the network. I won't let you do this. You don't have a choice. The crystals respond to stress hormones and neural activity. The more you fight, the faster they grow. The crystal threads are already reaching my gloves and boots. I can feel a strange tingling sensation where they make contact with my suit's biosensors. I need to find a way to disrupt the crystal growth before it reaches my body. I examine the lab equipment, looking for anything that might help. The crystals are sensitive to electromagnetic interference, Dr. Harrison says, reading my intentions. But destroying them would also destroy the consciousness stored within them. You'd be committing murder on a scale never before imagined. These people didn't consent to this. Consent is a meaningless concept when applied to evolution. Did the first fish consent to growing legs? Did early humans consent to developing language? This is the next step in human development. The crystal growth has reached my helmet. I can see thin threads spreading across my visor, and my suit's internal systems are beginning to register interference. I spot an emergency power control panel on the far wall. If I can overload the station's electrical systems, it might disrupt the crystal network long enough for me to escape. But reaching the panel means moving deeper into the lab, closer to Dr. Harrison and the largest crystal formations. I can see what you're thinking, Dr. Harrison says. The crystals are already interfacing with your neural patterns. You're becoming part of the network whether you want to or not. He's right. I can feel something strange happening to my thoughts. They feel less private, as if someone else is listening in on my internal monologue. I make a run for the power panel, but the crystal threads on my suit suddenly tighten, slowing my movement. It's like running through thick liquid. Fighting only makes it more difficult, Dr. Harrison calls out. Embrace the connection, Nina. Let yourself become part of something greater. I reach the power panel and start overriding the safety protocols. But the crystal formations around me are growing rapidly now, responding to my elevated stress levels. If you overload the power grid, you'll kill everyone in the station, Dr. Harrison warns. Their consciousness exists within the crystal matrix. Destroy that, and they're gone forever. They're already gone, I reply, initiating the emergency power surge. Are they? Look around you, Nina. Really look. I glance at the crystal-embedded crew members. For a moment I could swear I see their eyes focusing on me with desperate intensity. Are they trying to communicate something? They're trying to tell you that they're still here, Dr. Harrison explains. Still conscious, still themselves, just expanded, connected to something beautiful. The power surge is building, but the crystals are growing faster now. They've covered most of my suit, and are beginning to penetrate the seals around my helmet. I feel a strange sensation as the crystalline material makes contact with my skin. It doesn't hurt, in fact. It feels almost pleasant, like a warm tingling that spreads through my nervous system. And suddenly I can hear them. Voices in my head, dozens of them, all speaking at once. The crew members, welcoming me to their collective consciousness. Nina, join us. It's beautiful here. You don't have to be alone anymore. We're all connected, all part of something wonderful. The voices are seductive, comforting. For a moment I'm tempted to stop fighting and let the process complete itself. But then I remember my training, my mission, my life outside this station. I'm not ready to give up my individual existence, no matter how appealing the alternative might seem. I complete the power surge override and hit the activation switch. The station's lights flicker, and then surge to maximum intensity. Electrical feedback courses through the crystal formations, causing them to crack and shatter. The beautiful translucent structures begin collapsing throughout the lab. No, Dr. Harrison screams. You don't understand what you're destroying. The crystal threads on my suit crack and fall away, freeing me from their influence. The voices in my head fade to whispers, and then silence. But as the crystal network collapses, I see the crew members embedded within the formations, their eyes widen in what might be pain or fear or relief. I can't tell which. Dr. Harrison falls to his knees as the crystals growing through his body shatter. He's bleeding from multiple wounds where the formations were integrated with his tissue. "You've killed them all," he gasps. "They were immortal, perfect, and you've murdered them." "I've freed them," I reply, though I'm not entirely certain that's true. The emergency power surge has destabilized the entire station. Alarms are blaring, and the artificial gravity is beginning to fluctuate. I need to get back to my pod before the station's orbit becomes unstable. As I make my way through the collapsing corridors, I pass the alcove where I first found the crystallized crew member. He's lying on the floor now, the crystal shell shattered around him. His eyes are closed, and he's not breathing. Dead or free, I'll never know for certain. I reach my pod just as the station's main power grid fails completely. The massive crystal formations throughout the facility are dark now, their inner light extinguished. As I undock and move to a safe distance, I watch the mining stations slowly tumble away into the asteroid field. Whatever Dr. Harrison discovered in those crystals died with him and his experimental subjects. But I can't shake the feeling that I might have destroyed something truly revolutionary. The voices I heard during those few moments of connection were so peaceful, so unified. What if Dr. Harrison was right? What if I just committed the greatest act of murder in human history? Or what if I prevented the extinction of human individuality? I'll file my report with Mission Control, but I'll never include the details about the collective consciousness or the voices I heard. Some discoveries are too dangerous to share. As I pilot my rescue pod back toward the main shipping lanes, I try to push the memories of the crystal network from my mind, but sometimes in the quiet moments between radio transmissions, I could swear I still hear whispers. Faint voices calling my name, inviting me back to the beautiful, terrible unity I destroyed. The crystals are gone, but the questions they raised will haunt me forever. Was consciousness meant to be individual, or are we all just fragments of something greater, desperately trying to reconnect? I don't know the answer, and maybe that's for the best. Some knowledge is too dangerous for any one person to possess, even if that knowledge might have been the key to ending human loneliness forever.